Hello once more, everyone. It's your friend Moonhorse here to read you more Neckbeard stories. First off, I'm sorry about the background noise. The air conditioner is on, and as much as I know everybody else who records things and stuff will turn the air conditioners off when they're recording, I'm fucking dying. I can't. I'm sorry. I'm melting. I fucking hate the South. Anyway, this is from Reddit user Neither Expression. We read another story from you, but I can't fucking... Neckbeard. It was Neckbeard. Okay, cool. This is... Gamerbeard. Ooh. So you guys seem to like my first post, Neckbeard. Hey, yeah, Neckbeard. I was right. So I decided to reach way back in the deepest recesses of my memory to grab another story. This is the story of Gamerbeard. One thing before we start. It is very likely that Gamerbeard is mildly autistic, so I feel a little bad about making fun of him, but, you know, it is still a pretty good story. Yeesh. That puts me in a weird position. The story takes place between grades 6 through 8, or ages 12 to 14, so about 10 years ago. You fucking kids. Our titular neckbeard in this story is Gamerbeard. Gamerbeard was named so for the fact that he is never seen going for more than 30 minutes without playing some sort of video game. Whether on his laptop or on a handheld, he had a very distinct smell of sour milk that seemed to follow him everywhere and permeate all things he owned and came into contact with. I'm sorry, Sour milk is one of those things that immediately makes me nauseated. Oh. I, at the time, was a tall, lanky preteen male, a bit socially awkward with a small but tight group of friends. With Gamerbeard, there wasn't necessarily one particular defining act that's burned into my mind, but rather a collection of small events and his character as a whole. Gamerbeard was a tall, fairly heavy-set boy, not tremendously fat or anything, just a little more pudgy than most. He had a greasy, stringy, dirty blonde hair, and a smattering of acne across his very pale face. He always wore baggy jeans, usually with holes torn in them and stains all over. I don't think he washed his clothes very often. He would come in with the remnants of last week's lunch still covering his pants. Ugh. Most of his shirts were of the edgy gamer variety. I just did air quotes and realized that there's not a camera in here, so I don't know why the fuck I did that. A lot of gaming-themed shirts with flames and stuff. He'd always breathe quite heavily, and you'd either smell him or hear him before you'd ever see him. Gamerbeard was a pretty underperforming student. We were both part of the gifted program at our school, which I have huge regrets going into, as the program was just all around awful. He was pretty... well, consistently to the bottom of the class, as he rarely, if ever, paid attention during said class. He would usually be drawing comics in his notebook that would be pretty sexual for a preteen. Ugh. These comics were quite often shoved into other people's faces as he showed off what turned out to be some poorly drawn proto-hentai. He spent all day long creating or playing these weird flash games using a free program called Game Maker. Oh my god, Game Maker. I remember Game Maker. It was really popular at the time. Most were top-down shooters using characters of his comics. Now, for the most part, that wasn't too bad. He usually kept to himself when doing this. Wouldn't really bother anybody. Drew a lot of comics. Really weird. Did you go to school with Chris Chan? Oh my god, if you went to school with Chris Chan, I'd freak out. When not making video games or drawing comics, Gamerbeard was pretty annoying. One day, when the teacher had left the room for a couple of minutes, he tore his shirt off, ran around the room, and shoved his enormous chubby stomach in the face of every girl in the room. He also tried to grope the girls in our school several times. For some reason, he would rarely ever get into trouble for this. He also had a habit of stalking many of the girls around the school, trying to get their numbers or a date from them. When he got predictably rejected, he would either yell or cry or run around the school. He ran around the school a lot. One day when Gamerbeard didn't show up, one girl lost her shit at the homeroom teacher, telling her that all the shit that he'd done to her, basically sexually assaulting her, stalking her, and stealing her books. Wow! Whoa! And the teacher basically told all of us that Gamerbeard had a lot of social troubles, and when he was doing something wrong, we had to tell him, no, that's not what you should be doing. This is what tipped me off that teachers were probably told he had some degree of autism or other issue that they were just really not able to tell us. One day after being sick of his shit, he grabbed and snapped one of my friend's bra straps. Wow. I blew up at him. Granted, I was kind of mean about it, but I was really sick of him. I told him the reason that he had no friends was his constantly trying to grope and stalk the girls in our grade. I told him to fuck off and go back to making his comics. He started crying and punched me square in the dick. Hard. I hit the floor like a sack of potatoes, and Gamerbeard ran off. I reported this incident to the principal, who then told me that she would speak to him. Yeah, he got off scot-free. No consequences. Not even a detention. He was invulnerable to any sort of punishment. Towards the end of grade 8, he had taken my laptop, a very shitty IBM laptop at the time, but a laptop nonetheless, and smashed it against the floor, smashing the screen and the case. My family tried to get his family to pay for a replacement, but the school instead wrote my parents a check to make the whole situation go away. After this whole situation, he decided to throw sand in my eyes during lunch break. Okay. I realize that he threw sand at you, and this is a very serious situation, but you can't say throw sand without... Oh, come on, you're all thinking it. Pocket sand! I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I'm sorry, that's not funny. I'm like stupid, and things like that make me laugh. I'm really sorry. There's sand in my eyes during lunch break, where I had to get my eyes flushed out in one of the eye wash stations in the chemistry room. Dear readers, do you think you faced any sort of consequence for this? Of course not. In my 3 years of being around Gamerbeard, never once did I ever see him get any sort of punishment for all the shit he pulled. We graduated from middle school and then went off to different high schools, and I didn't see him for quite some time. Fast forward to now. We're both 22 now, you fucking kids. A couple of months ago, I was visiting my parents for Thanksgiving. We have Thanksgiving in October in Canada. Alright, well, you're cooler because now I know you're from Canada. I want to go to Canada. I went to the mall and saw him there, and man, he did not improve with time. He is enormously obese now. I'd say he's about 6'3" and well over 400 pounds. He's a couple of cheeseburgers away from needing a mobility scooter at this point. He sported a scraggly brown beard, which extended nearly down to his collarbone. He now has a mullet. We live in Canada, where I have not seen a mullet in my entire life. I live in South Louisiana, and there's a game we play during fair time called Count the Mullets. I assure you, the mullet is very much alive. Oh God, it's still alive. Which is so oily that the U.S. would try to hate it. Fuck. He also wore stained sweatpants and a soiled red t-shirt with several holes around the seams. I don't think he recognized me, as I, fortunately, do not look much at all like I did in middle school. A combination of puberty, braces changed my facial structure, and I like to think I had a bit of a glow up. Is that a term? I like that term. I glue up. Alright. It sounds just weird when I say it, I'm sorry. Now, for a bit of context, I spent most of my childhood in a wealthy suburb of Toronto, which is where this story takes place. It's incredibly rare for people not to graduate with a full diploma from high school. As well, with a combination of government and school-level financial aid, it's rare not to have some sort of post-secondary education. Even the poorest of residents can afford it. I got into contact with someone who I knew lived on the same street as him. They told me that Gamerbeard graduated with a GED, and has been nearly a complete NEET ever since. Okay, more slight deviation. You really want to know the first time I ever heard the phrase NEET? It was fucking Doki Doki Literature Club. That's how rare that shit is around here. Also, most people in this parish have not finished school, period. The difference between these places is shocking. He has only been able to hold down a job for at most a month or two before getting fired or quitting. He lives in his parents' basement where he plays video games nearly all day. If you've ever heard of the 4chan Tindies meme, I'd say this is the closest to reality you'll ever find of it. Ooh, he got the good boy points. Honestly, I think despite the fact that he almost certainly is autistic, that his parents and the school system are largely to blame for what he is now. I don't think he ever had 1 ounce of discipline growing up, and no one ever told him no. His parents enabled this behavior, and most likely pressured the school administrators to spare him any sort of punishment or consequences for the shit he pulled over the years. Had his parents actually raised him properly, I think he would be at least a decently functioning member of society. As it is now, I don't think he'll ever amount to anything, unless something drastically changes about him. I do feel bad for him to a certain extent, but he's still a fucking asshole to me, and everybody around him. Whew. Wow. That's some crazy shit, man. Seriously, if you weren't from Canada, I would have wagered that you may have gone to school with Chris Chan. I know, that's probably really mean to say, but he does kind of... Except for the weirdly abusive stuff. Except for the confrontational fighting thing. Well, no, I mean, Chris did mace that guy. Well, mace his shirt, but, you know, same difference. Yeah. My God, could he be the Canadian Chris Chan? I wish I could find his comics. Zab to the extreme, eh? I'm sorry, I had to. I know that's really stupid, but I really had to. You were thinking it. You know you were. We all were. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I keep thinking about it. It's making me laugh. Oh my God. Thank you all for watching. If you liked this and want to send in your own story or pictures or whatever, send them to my subreddit at r/Moonhorse I will read them, and if you have a story that's like personal and you don't want to put it on the subreddit, but you want me to read it, you can PM me. I'm the mod there, so I will answer. That much is for damn sure. I do answer. If you want to support this show, I have a Patreon, which I would greatly appreciate any donations you can give. Or if you want to buy merchandise, I have t-shirts, I have, all that kind of stuff. All that's in the links in the description below. Every time I say below, I keep trying to say comments. But it's not in the comments, it's in the description. I don't know why I keep saying comments. I do it every fucking time. It's like some kind of weird tick. Anyway, thank you all. I don't have a catchphrase. There's something you can send me. Let's make up a catchphrase together. It's this whole channel is about everybody working together anyway, so let's do all of it. Fuck it. I love you all, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.